Hello and welcome one and all to the shining streets of Singapore. Can you believe we've been coming here for nearly a decade now? It feels like only yesterday that Felipe Massa was dragging his fuel hose down the pit lane in that eventful opening race, and in a Grand Prix won from pole position more often than not. Will we see a new victor crowned today? Situated just 88 miles north of the equator, this 3.5-mile circuit is hot, it's humid, and is an incredible test for the drivers as they try to fight their cars around the bumps and in between the barriers. 23 corners take us twice over the bay to complete a single lap of this unique racetrack. The view is spectacular, the heat is unbearable. The race should be incredible. Anthony Davidson is alongside me in the commentary box this evening, and big race this one, a real test of endurance. Sounds right up your alley. Wouldn't you just love to be down there on the grid right now?
You know what, Crofty? I'm pretty happy to be up here in my air conditioning, thank you, right now. I can't stress just how difficult these conditions can be, especially when you consider it's the longest race on the calendar in terms of time. It's also one of those races where you have to remember to keep drinking, or there's a real risk of dehydration, just like we saw with young Kevin Magnussen a couple of years ago, don't forget. We mentioned the bumps as well. Take a look at the onboards if you get a chance during this race. The movement in the suspension and the chassis is just incredible, and it's lots of hard work to wrestle the car around the lap here.
Okay, here we go. I know what you can do. Don't let me down.
So before the off, let's remind ourselves of yesterday's qualifying session with a look at the starting grid. Sebastian Vettel will start on pole. Fantastic qualifying from the multiple world champion. And Kimi Raikkonen completes the front row. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Button and a McLaren, Nico Rosberg and Verstappen, Massa, Bottas, Hülkenberg and Carlos Sainz, Haryanto, Palmer, Romain Grosjean and Nasser, Magnussen, Ericsson, Sergio Perez and Esteban Gutierrez, Kvyat and Hamilton, Pascal Wehrlein and Daniel Ricciardo rounds off the grid. And with preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track.
Well, hello everyone, it's me, it's Love Spuds. It's F1 2016 and we're at Singapore at the Marina Bay Street Circuit. I'm just toggling some strategies here to see what on earth is the difference between these two, but I don't see any, so I'm just gonna deal with that and move on to the start of the race. So as you can see, it's 2 Ferraris, 2 McLarens, pretty much on par with where the car is obviously meant to be. Mercedes obviously dropped the ball. You can see Hamilton pretty much at the back of the grid. I think Q1 was wet, and for some reason they didn't get out. I don't know, for some reason there must have been some problem, or the game just had a fit or something like that. But this is probably one of the best qualifyings that we've done for quite a while. I know in F1 2013 it wasn't too bad either, but actually my memory fails me. I can't remember where I qualified. But anyway, we managed to get 4th, and this is our lap. So as you can see, it's not a bad run in the first sector here. Unfortunately nothing to compare it to, because I got out quickly. I can't remember why I did that, because usually I let people go around and then I can sort of compare times. But it's a 29.3 in the first sector, which is alright. It's usually the second sector that I have a bit of an issue with. I think mainly coming up to this section here, because this is still difficult for me to get used to, because I was used to the older layout going across the other bridge, and in this corner as well, this sort of hairpin, and then get a bit of oversteer coming out of there. That's where I did lose a lot of time during practice and Q1 and 2. But as you can see, we're actually up on Rosberg's time, which isn't really of much consequence, obviously, considering where he ended up on the grid. But I thought I was doing pretty well, apart from corner cutting that bit there. So, third sector's not too bad for me, as long as you get this tunnel section correct. Get a good run out of here. Bit of a lock up going into there, but the run out of here usually do pretty well, and then it's just I do sometimes lose time on this bit here, because I don't really have the downforce to go any flatter going through that corner. Words fail me, sort of, again. But as you see, we were second, but with Vettel and Button getting better times, that's where it all ended up. But me and Button have got a very good start on the Ferraris there. Still can't really make a move though, because I've been a bit squeezed. Trying to give Button plenty of room on the outside there. But the run out of here from the Ferraris was pretty terrible, considering I could have moved up into the lead there, but I think I got forced out wide a little bit there by Vettel. Bit of contact there, but it's a very good run down the bent straight. Got Raikkonen coming up on the outside, so I need to be wary of where he is, so I'm going to take a tight line. Maybe look at going around the outside here, but I don't think that's going to happen. Can't really move to the inside because Raikkonen was still there. But now he's fallen back going around this bend. And now it's sort of settled down for a minute. And are in second place, Raikkonen third. Button should be in fourth behind. It's just a case of how I'll come out of this hairpin, because I think I screw it up slightly. Yep, massive kick of oversteer, which is going to hand pretty much the place to Raikkonen there. Then just switch back on to the inside and get that place back, which was quite handy. You know, I didn't think I was going to be able to pull that off, but I managed it. Does, however, allow Vettel to get a little bit further away, and you know, still got a few laps to go before the DRS, so that is not ideal. He's probably about a second ahead, well, maybe half a second, I'm not sure. It's kind of difficult to tell when the concertina effect is going up and down when you're coming up to a corner, but that's probably about a second. Yep, 1.1 second. So I'm already outside of DRS range even before lap 3 comes around. This is actually not one of my favourite tracks. I mean, I actually quite like most of this track, Kvyat's out of the race, for some reason. I actually do like a lot of this track. There's only like a couple of corners that I don't like, but never mind. Raikkonen's going to come up and easily get past. They've got much better straight line speed than I have. I've probably got one of the worst straight line speeds. What the hell happened to Button? Trying to spot him in the crowd there. But this is more Ferrari's playground, I think, today. Although, to be fair, I can't actually remember what happens in the rest of the race, so you're sort of watching it while I'm watching it, even though I actually raced it. And I haven't, like, re-watched it since. I mean, I've gone through the edit, and I know where I finished, obviously, but you know, most of the time I don't re-watch the whole thing anyway. So it's a lot of time to spend just watching it back. Because obviously I'm watching it back now to commentate on it, which is sort of my own quality control, doing it in the moment. But commentating on the whole thing while watching it back, it's sort of like two birds with one stone. You get to check if there's any problems with the video and the audio, and then obviously you get your commentary done at the same time, even if it does mean, you know, taking twice as long to do a video, because live commentary is obviously quicker. But you would not want to listen to my live commentary for F1, because I don't really say that much at all. I just pretty much purely concentrate on the racing. There's very little to be said, and if there's anything I did want to talk about, there's no way I'd remember it during the middle of the race, because I'll just be concentrating on taking each corner as it comes. Now I've just watched there's a little move going on up front. Raikkonen and Vettel going at it. Vettel's going to come back up the inside again. It's a good little battle there. It's actually helping me catch up as well, even though I massively cut that corner. See, sometimes 99, not 99, I'd say like 90 to 95% of the time I do take the corners properly, but sometimes I do turn in a bit early, and sometimes if I brake too early, then I sort of turn in too early, so it's sort of like a little sequence of things that goes wrong when I corner cut. But you know, that's how it happens. So yeah, Raikkonen and Vettel still fighting it up front. Just watched the Malaysian Grand Prix as well, so that's just happened. Although obviously by the time you see this video, it will be almost time for Suzuka. That's good. So none of this is going to spoil anyone's race results. I would hope you would have seen the race by now if you're a fan of F1. Because this is due to be released on the 6th, I think. Anyway, we got Rosberg come up the inside. He hit me basically up the inside. Probably I didn't give him enough room, but that screwed me over for entry into that previous corner there, as you can see, because I nearly went into the wall. But anyway, that pretty much put Rosberg out, I think. I'll have to see where he ended up, but he came up the inside, but it wasn't great. And here's the strategies come in. Changing the strategy, I think, yes. Come in 2 laps early. We'll see how that works out for us, but that's where Button is. He got passed by Rosberg as Rosberg was trying to make his way back up the field. But then he came across me, unfortunately. So yeah, you got Vettel, Raikkonen, myself, and then Buttons, so it's back to where it was, and I can screw up the entry to that. Shouldn't be crashing like that under safety car, that's just a lack of concentration. But as I say, just watched the Malaysian Grand Prix, which is a great race because Daniel Ricciardo won and Max Verstappen was second. There were some great moves in turns like 4, 5 and 6, which were, well, they turned out to be the decisive moment of the race, before Hamilton had his engine blow up on him. So that was great. I'm really happy for Danny. Now Max and Daniel have got 1 race each in the bag this season, so that's good, especially after Daniel was robbed in Monaco. And don't get me wrong, I like Hamilton. Got nothing against him at all. It's just nice that someone else comes through occasionally. And again, it's the problem with you take the Mercedes out of the equation for the win, and then you actually get a good race, as I drive through a mechanic's leg. Yeah. But no, that was good. That's the sort of racing I want to see. You know, at least we don't know like who's going to win, sort of thing. I think Max was told to back off before the end, but you know, that's to help Red Bull and the constructors mainly, and it gives them 1 win apiece anyway. I think Max might have been able to do something, but I don't think he was catching up enough. And the way Daniel was driving as well, I think he would have had too much of a fight, and there may have been too much of a risk of them colliding. So I think that was pretty sensible for the way they finished. If they told him to back off, which they might have done, I don't know, because he did certainly back off quite a bit by the end, considering where he was, nearly within DRS range. And a good result for Palmer as well. I don't rate Palmer that much at the moment, but you know, he scored his first point, which is good. And McLaren boys got in the points as well, which is encouraging for the progress that the Honda's making, especially on a track that has long straights. It'll be tough on the engine. So yep, definitely encouraging. I think there's more to come from them. Shame Button's not competing next year, but there you go. Hopefully Alonso will be able to do something, and maybe Van Dorn as well, but I haven't really seen enough of Van Dorn to say that yes, he'll do well. I mean, he did well getting McLaren's points early on in the year when he stood in for Alonso, but you know, he was in a good position at the time, so it's to compare him directly against Alonso would be interesting to see. Alright, so other people come into the pits. I don't know why the car keeps ghosting when people go into the pits. I mean, that's where they should be. Then again, that's just my ranting coming in again. So, there's obviously with all games you get the odd fucking problem nowadays. The more complex games get, the more likely these bugs are going to pop up. So, you know, I can forgive it. I mean, at least this is one of the best racing games that, well, F1 racing games that Codemasters have put out. So, can't grumble too much, to be honest. I definitely won't be going back to any of the other ones anytime soon, that's for sure. So we're on a safety car again. I think this is like 2 or 3 races in a row now. Maybe I don't know if it's 4. I'm not sure if it's 4. Probably 3. Shows how much I know about my racing career so far. So we're up behind Vettel, which is roughly where we want to be. So the pit stop's done quite well for us, with a safety car and all that. Vettel's on course for winning the race, but it depends where Raikkonen is, to be honest. Once we find out where he is, then we can see whether we're actually going to do something. And here we are again with the bloody AI just randomly going on the brakes earlier than they should be. I think I actually flashed back at some point, so get prepared for that. Yeah, that's it about Malaysia, really. I mean, you know, to think it would have just been a Hamilton show if he'd not blown up, and it would have just been another cruise to victory. I mean, at least we got some other drivers, you know, fighting it out. And it was a bit silly of Vettel going into the first corner, the way he came into it. But, you know, the gap was there, and, you know, Rosberg couldn't see he was there, so it's not really anyone's fault but Vettel's, to be honest. So he did go a bit deep in there, but, you know, he did try. You know, that's all you can ask for, and he needed to make up some positions anyway. Against Red Bull at the very least. But when all is said and done, it's Rosberg out in front leading the championship, so you never know. He might win this year. And I have no problem with him winning. A lot of people don't like Rosberg, but so what? It'd be nice to him to have a championship under his belt. I've got no problem with that at all. Even if it does mean Lewis doesn't win. Even as a Brit, I don't want someone, you know, dominating that much. I don't care what nationality they are. I just don't like the constant run of, like, winning races, winning championships, just because they've got the best car. But it's nice to actually see that a teammate is actually fighting him. It makes it slightly less predictable, which is nice. Whereas Vettel was just winning all the time last time we had a dominant force. I was just trying to get some heat into my rear tyres, spinning up the rear wheels a bit, just to see if I can maybe bring up the temperature slightly. I mean, I think roughly 100 degrees is where you're meant to be on the temperatures anyway, but it's pretty difficult. I mean, even doing a lot of weaving at this slow speed is not making much of a difference. You really need to be going faster to get heat in there. So what we got up there was that Button, Palmer, Magnussen, Grosjean, Gutierrez, Vettel. Out front. I didn't realise Button was in front of us. Oh, he's actually leading. He's leading. Right. Okay. I would assume he's not pitted yet. That's the only thing I can assume. A lot of these people up front haven't pitted. Anyway, we'll see how it goes. Verstappen, yes. Verstappen, our friend of many races, is going to become a part of this race, for sure. So Vettel gets past Gutierrez there, and I need to get past as soon as possible if I'm to stay in touch with him. Even though he's going to get held up in front anyway, it's just nice to get past. Not lose too much time. And as I've said before, early on in the video, Singapore's not my favourite track, and you know, I was getting a bit frustrated in practice as well, because my long runs weren't that great, and I lose a lot of time. So if I was to do like a longer race, then the results probably wouldn't be as good as a short race here. But everything going in my favour though, that this traffic is helping basically to bunch up the field and make everyone slower. So I'll need to get some practice in and see how well I can do for next season. But plans for next season being hopefully getting the McLarens up there, and the constructors and the drivers, hopefully winning the championship next year. That would be handy. So we'll see if we can do that. If we do win the championship next year, maybe season 3 and maybe move teams, maybe not. Because we have to see how it goes. It'd be nice to try out a different team. We've currently stopped the development of this year's car, so we're saving up some points, resource points for next year. So that choice of stopping development actually is helpful as I go for a move on Gutierrez. I wasn't expecting it to be that early, so I just made a sort of a late move up the inside, but it worked. Vettel's got past Grosjean as well, so that's the next one I need to take, because I don't think it'll be long before Vettel gets past the banana cars up front, aka the Renaults. Now I've forgotten what I was talking about. Next season the cars. Oh yes, the development. Stopping the development now gives you a 25% boost in resource points for next season, and he's sort of basically banking them now to spend at the start of the season to give you more of a boost at the start. So next year's car in Australia should be more competitive, because as far as I'm aware it actually does reset your progress basically. So if you just develop this year's car right to the end of the season, then you've got no points for next season. You're basically starting from scratch again, from where the performance is, and so McLaren would be like back down the field again. Mercedes at the top, Ferrari, you know, all the usual. So it sort of resets. It doesn't really like make a yearly progress, as far as I'm aware. I mean, assuming that actually happens, we will see. We shall see. But in the meantime, we've still got the rest of this season to go. Still got a few races left. Still technically with a chance of winning the championship, but it's a long shot. And that's why I've stopped development and just going for next year. Because we've had some amazing results. I couldn't believe I got the win in Monza, but that was down to some strategy calls. I don't think I've won on outright pace yet. So yeah, we'll see. Say what next season's like. We're getting very close to Vettel and Palmer here, but I'm just being so cautious because I know that something could happen, and like I've got a car in front of me, I can't move around and just crash straight into him. I'm just very aware of that. And this is a long race as well. It says it's 15 laps, yes, but it's like a minute 46 a lap. That's a long time, and that's why this video is 37 minutes-ish long. Is about that, isn't it? Roughly, yeah. So Vettel's going to surely get past Palmer. I think Palmer's going to come into the pits though after this lap. Wouldn't surprise me. Teammates in the pits. Palmer's in the pits. There we go. So that's Jensen and Jolyon in the pits. So that leaves us 1 and 2. And Verstappen in third. Verstappen's quite speedy. Go slightly wide on the first corner there and get a bit squirrely out of that corner. But it's not a bad run onto the DRS straight. We managed to get DRS, but so has Max behind, I expect. So, not really going to make much headway, because you can see how much speed that Ferrari's got. I'm not set up for straight line speed, I'm set up for downforce mainly, I think. Judging by the setup I have here. Obviously mine's an all-round setup, I would guess, compared to Vettel's more straight line. Oh, and that should have ended my race, to be honest. A whack like that on the front suspension would not have been pretty. But we survived. We still got a full tyre full of air. That was me just checking to see if I did any damage, because I sort of thought something had gone wrong there, because the car didn't feel quite right. But now it's back to normal, and now I've got Verstappen basically behind me. In saying that, he's talking on the TV now, so kind of freaky. Bit of a strange line coming out of there, but it worked. Just trying to find any sort of way to get a better run out of the corners. I have to let off on this corner. I don't have the grip nor the downforce to go around there at speed. And now Vettel's slowly getting away from us, and now we're just basically on the defensive. I think the wind's sort of out the window, but at least our target was only 5th, so even if I do lose a position, it's not the end of the world. And Button's too far down as well. He should have pitted earlier. He would have had a better time of it, considering where he started in 3rd, man. Oh, and there's Max. Hello. Whacking me. I'm going to try and stay around on the inside here. He's still there, but firm but fair. I didn't take it out on him. I didn't whack him back or anything. But that was some clobber he gave me down into that bend on braking. I ain't giving up easily. I think no, he's not got any damage to his wing yet. I think I might have, looking at the replay, I think I took a bit of his wing off when he clattered into me. But at the moment he's still doing okay. He's still threatening us quite considerably. Only a 10th behind. And because of how early I've come into the pits, that will mean my tyres are going to be a bit more of a struggle than anyone behind me, I think. But Vettel's gone off into the distance. He's going to go away and win the race, I think. I don't think there's only going to be any challenge to him at all. And a bad run out of that final bend has meant that Max could have challenged me up the inside there, but he didn't go for it. And that's just me trying to get a decent run out of the bend there. I need to get a good run out of here on the straight as well, if possible. Try and get the car as straight as I can and avoid some of that oversteer, but he's still going to get DRS and going to get a massive run. So, yeah, not quite sure if that was my fault or not, but I wasn't necessarily expecting him to come up the outside. I was expecting him to switch over and go up the inside. So that sort of wedged him and against me and the wall in sort of a sandwich, and that's where I think a lot of the damage on his front wing's been done. So you can see he's not really as close to me as he would like to be, but he's also now defending from Raikkonen. From what I can see in the mirrors there, that is a Ferrari, so That does take pressure off me a bit. So he's fallen to half a second, so he is like defending. So with roughly 2 laps to go after this one, we should be pretty safe as long as we don't do anything drastically wrong. I'm always worried about going under this grandstand here, going through the mini tunnel. I always worry about going straight on into the barriers there. We've all done it. I've mostly done it in practice. In previous games I've done it in the race, I believe, if I can remember. But that's how the cookie crumbles. I'm just starting the penultimate lap, just going down the straight again. More than a second to Verstappen now. It looks like Raikkonen's probably going to get past. I would not be surprised, thanks to the damage on Max's car. Yep, there we go. Raikkonen's passed. Now that does, however, mean he's going to catch up on me. Oh no, Verstappen's got back at him. So the fight behind does mean that I'm going to get away slightly. I can see Vettel up the road, but he's just a bit too far away for me to do anything about him, especially in with 1.5 laps to go. So I'm basically just taking it easy, not doing anything too drastic, because I know there's a massive train behind me, and if I make a huge mistake then I'll drop straight out of the points. And however, well, I could probably be at the back of the grid, considering how bunched up the field is. It must be seriously mixed up. Just coming around the final few chicanes here. Not a great exit, but you know, as I said, they're defending behind me and they're all bunched up, so that makes my life a hell of a lot easier as we start the final lap. Well, as soon as I get to the end of the Singapore race, it's one of those races I just want to end. Just get to the end and survive. No danger coming up this main straight here, or the bent straight, we haven't quite. The lighting in this bit is really nice, I have to admit that. They've done quite well with the lighting, especially those blue neon lights. It looks gorgeous, especially when the car passes through it. Yeah. This, as I say, this bit does catch me out a few times. It's not that I liked the funny chicane that was there before they changed it into just a sweeping left-hander. It's when they changed the bridge that they go over. They moved it from the right one to the left one, I believe, which makes like the entries tighter and exit tighter to the hairpin. Does throw me off a little bit still, considering I was used to that before. And I never got to this Grand Prix in 2015 or 2014 for that matter. This is the furthest I've got through a season since 2013, and those fireworks did actually distract me a little bit there. And I got Raikkonen up my backside, who's gained so much, but just coming across the line to get second.
Good job, you did really well. Super driving.
So, another excellent win from Ferrari. And I have to wonder, Anthony Davidson, just what set them apart from the competition here.
Well, the safety car completely changed the race, didn't it? It's hard to say exactly what would have happened without it, but there's no question that they came out of that situation in a good position.
Well, this is it. This is where they all want to be. Here come the top three then, out onto the podium after a fascinating Grand Prix.
And there we go, a lovely second place there from 4th on the grid. Unfortunately, Button has fallen down. Rio Harrianto in 8th there, picking up a good few points there for the Manor team. Jensen 14th. Oh, that's bad. Oh well, but there you go, that's how it stands. And then we'll see what the guys say.
And after this round of the World Championship, here's how things look in the drivers' table. It's a good result for Lewis Hamilton, who moves further ahead at the top of the table. Moving on to the driver of the day then. Anthony Davidson, who would you go for?
Well, I have to give it to Lewis Hamilton. You know, it was just the kind of drive you'd expect from a multiple world champion.
And now let's take a look at the constructors' standings. We saw a dip in form from the championship leaders today. Their lead has taken a significant blow. That's it for today's Grand Prix, and from Ant and I, it's goodbye, and see you again next time.
Actually looks like we're catching up Raikkonen in the Drivers' Championship, and we're holding steady in 3rd in the Constructors, which is good. Got some strong circuits coming up actually. Suzuka, maybe not one of the strongest ones for me, but definitely the US Grand Prix is one I'm looking forward to, because I seem to do quite well at that track. And then you got Mexico after that, and then Brazil, and then Abu Dhabi. So not long to go now till the end of the first season here. As you can see, all my targets and things achieved and my career score just ticking on up nicely. Obviously I trigger flashbacks all the time in practice mostly, unless it's a really good track of mine. But anyway, it's only 10 seconds left, so I better wrap this up. So I'll see you next time in Japan for the next round in about 4 days' time. See you then, take care guys.